Welcome, brothers and sisters, to another edition of EBX discussion. And may that great divine stay in our life, keep us protected, and keep us strong and staying within, the truth within ourselves and having a protection spirit for ourselves, our families, those we care about, and those that are deserving of our love, which is important. And unfortunately, sometimes it could be close, people we're close to, every righteous brother and sister deserves to have peace, especially those who work hard in their lives and just trying to live a good life before we even get to the deep spiritual, as I say. But salute to current subscriber, new subscriber, anybody that view. I salute you and thank you, because it can be challenging in this life, as we all know, but we stay with it, don't we, and keep on forging forward as our ancestors did. I thank our ancestors, righteous brothers and sisters who fought so very hard to get many of us in that great foundation that a lot of us are standing on as brother or sister, younger or older. So be thankful, and keep exploring, whether in the world, make sure we travel. That's something I took from Malcolm X. May rest in peace and in power. Not took, learned from Malcolm X. We have to travel the world too. I haven't been everywhere, but I've been a few places, and you'd be surprised when we explore, as I always say, in our mind, body, and soul, and in the world, where it will take us, when we're seeking knowledge and we're not wrapped up in what? Chaos. So we're going to get into it, brothers and sisters, as you can see at the beginning of the title, 444. And I've said in past podcasts I was going to speak on this, and I see this a lot. And we're going to get into synchronicities and, when that divine in the universe and Mother Nature shows us, things outside of this little human body we live in, and go outside, not outside to, like being distracted by external things, but paying attention to the internal is what I was trying to say. Yeah, and if you see synchronicities a lot, pay attention to it. Look it up. I always say synchronicities, deja vu, seeing numbers, 111, or maybe 1111, 444, of course, 7777, and 7 is in my as I said, is in my birthday, the year I was born. I've always had a connection to sevens, and most cancers have a connection to sevens, because I've read. And I hope those enjoyed the artists, the tributes I've been giving to artists in the past 2 or 3 podcasts. But some of the artists, like summaries I read, some of them may have transition. Any artist that may have transition, rest in peace and in power. DMX, so many others. But DMX popped up in my spirit. I just seen a little clip about him, and he was a very giving brother. I think it may have been his wife or ex-girlfriend that was speaking on that. DMX was on his way to becoming a billionaire, and that's a brother that had clarity, which I'm gonna get into. But going back to synchronicities, and I see 444 a lot. Again, when we have dreams, synchronicities, deja vu, study that. That's that part of our brain that a lot of us speak on. We got a lot of aware reachers and teachers out here amongst the fake ones and the clout chasers. We in them right circles, we'll know who they are. But I've come across some really great brothers and sisters online. I'm not leaving my family out of there either. Remember, our family is where it all began. Remember, folks, I'll say this just to remind us, mother, father, and grandparents, from that great divine, but through the DNA of our parents. So that's where it all begins. And then, and be thankful if that great divine brings warriors along our path to help us, sometimes positive, sometimes a little shaken up. We have to get in a core and dig in our core of ourselves and get those things that's in us. Sometimes we don't know that's in us, and that can be good or bad, but we got to get the bad shit out of there too. Get it out, get rid of it, filter ourselves, and then we can begin to see clarity. So let's get into it. The beauty of clarity. And like I said, I put 444 at the beginning, and anybody can see 444. It all depends on what the individual. because this is the person that's driving the vehicle. You know what I mean? So, because I know we've seen 444 on like Jay-Z's album, stuff like that. But what is the significance of it to him? What is he as an individual? Now, we've all seen theories and stuff about him and other artists, so I won't go there. Most of us know. I'm off that train. I've been studying the industry and artists. I've been studying this shit for the last 15, 20 years. Not that we know everything now, but a lot of us have predicted things that's happening in the industry, already been talking about it. So that's old news. So we keep our eye, beauty of clarity. We pay attention to the things that's important. As I always say, it's like a righteous ripple effect. We start with ourselves, children, family, significant other, if we have one, work our way out. Now, again, anybody can see synchronicities and numbers, but again, when we see it and we are aware of it and know what it is, use it for good. Great Divine doesn't give us gifts to squander it. Now, at Great Divine, that positive force, it can be an easy force. It can be a loving force. But at the same time, you better respect it, because it will spank you on your ass. And we'll come back and knock you on your ass. As we see, again, like I said a few minutes ago, a lot of things we see in the media have been predictions. Brothers and sisters been saying forever. It's just that some of us, I don't know, we turn a blind eye to the truth, or we're scared of it. I don't know. I said on a brother's platform, why are people so afraid of being righteous? And righteous, when we say that word, it's a way of life. It's not a religious thing. It's not a holier than thou, or one thinks they're better than the other. No, it's just having clarity and being true to oneself as brother, sister, general, male or female. That's what it's about. Not being a gangster, not being tough, not being a thug, not showing how hard we are. No, because the most silent brother and sister that can control their emotions, that's power right there. There's nothing more powerful than not reacting to any and everything around us via person, place, or thing, especially if it's toxicity involved, whether it's small amounts or big amounts. That's the beauty of clarity, brothers and sisters. When you're not in the chaos and you're above and outside of this so-called matrix, you see it all. And I'm gonna read a little summary about 444, because I see it a lot, all the time. And before I get to it, though, I want to say salute to my children, and I call out protection on my children, family, their mothers, those in one circle, far and near. I just call out protection. Again, we got to develop that protection spirit. We get to a point where there's no such thing as weird. It's just different, something we're not used to, especially when it comes to that spiritual, cosmic world that's out there. That's why we see synchronicities, numbers, things in our dreams, deja vus. Those are the times when we study, and it don't matter who we are. We don't have to have no degree or been to college. Just do it. We in the age of technology. You come across a number or something divinely, not nothing weird. I mean, because there's no such thing as weird, like I just said, and there's no such thing as coincidences. If you have those moments where you make it go, study it, look it up, Google it. I always tell people, Google your dreams, get a grasp on that spiritual world and step over into it, and that'll be our superpower. We'll be able to prevent things, anticipate things, But my son, Lord Lamont, he has this ability. He just has to move all the distractions out the way, because a lot of times that's all it is. And if we need to, write. Many of us say this. If it's things we need to write down, write it down. Write down the things that, this is not nothing no one else has said. I'm just, giving a confirmation. Write down the things we can control, and then write down the things we can't control, and dismiss the things we can't control. Because just because we can't control it at the moment doesn't mean we won't be able to control it later. But we put it on the back burner, but we don't forget about it. That's clarity, brothers and sisters. And keep our eye on the sparrow. I love to say, sparrow of life, sparrow of learning, love, our children, family, most of all, ourselves. So that's what my son, Lord Lamont, is going to have to learn. Discipline, moving out, moving away from all distractions, paying attention to his intuition, because he has it. But I don't think he pays attention to it a lot. But, we all go through that learning process, but we have to do it, right? We have to learn. There is no if, ands, or maybe. If you want to thrive in this life, not survive, thrive. Because when you're thriving, you're there. Your clarity, your ability, stability, all those things. It's a wonderful thing to have, but it's easier said than done. We have to do things to practice to get to these, clarity and self-awareness, all those beautiful things that help us be a upright brother or sister and be a general, and pass it on to the next generation, a brother or sister, anyone that might not be there, because not everybody's at the same level. Some I like to say, some in the beginning, some in the middle, some are there, but the lessons and levels never stop. So I used to say this all the time: never focus on the destination, because there isn't any. Enjoy the journey. As we be serious sometimes, but always throw in there, enjoy it too. It's all a part of balance, because it's a beautiful thing when a brother and sister has balance. But it takes steps, takes a little work, different strokes, different folks. But look for a father and son discussion, like I said, with myself, Laura Lamont. And again, we'll be speaking on classical music and physics. All right, so I wanted to read a summary about the number 444, because I see it a lot, and I mean a lot. And again, like I said, many people can see synchronicities in numbers, but it all comes down to how that individual is in the core when we come across things like that. Because anything amazing from that great divine breathed life into us, So how can we disrespect that force? If you're disrespecting, something cosmic or divine that happened in your life, and you squander it and take it for granted, I feel sorry for you. Because, well, again, what we put out, I only have to finish that. We should know this by now, So that's why I said I don't do the media thing. I see the artist that's in the media that's beefing. I don't do trends. And again, it's not about being better than other people or nothing like that. Like one thinks they're better than the other. It's just having a sense of clarity. And when you have a sense of clarity and you look out into the world, whether person, place, or thing, social media, you can tell who's caught up. You can tell who's caught up by what's on their thumbnail. Real talk. And if everybody has the same thing on their thumbnail, I think that's a problem. But that's just my opinion. That's clarity to me. When everyone has that same trend or that same thing, on their thumbnail, we have to think about that. Hey, maybe I could be wrong, but that's just what I see. So I tend to walk one's own journey. Again, not that I'm better than no one, but I want to stay in a place of clarity. And why do a lot of brothers and sisters, those who are different and not in the matrix, and why we stand apart from others that are caught up? Because of past traumas, past things we have learned from. So a lot of us are standing in a place of clarity. A lot of us are not caught up in the chaos. Again, if you have a heightened awareness and you do have clarity, you'll know who's clout chasing. You'll know who's caught up. You'll know who's getting paid. We'll know who the gatekeepers are. We'll know who's paid for their subscriptions and views. There are people that do that. Again, we're in the right circles. We'll know who they are. Because I've run across some great content creators, brothers and sisters I haven't even met. You know what I mean? That's power. Haven't even met them. And I made a list of them. I got them right here on my channel. I spoke on it in a podcast called Appreciate the Knowledge That We Have Gained. And I put that in the end screen. I name names and everything. And when we're paying attention, again, when we're not caught up in the chaos of the media and social media and sift through the bullshit, we'll see right through to the real family and brothers and sisters we connect with in the world or online. And that's younger or older. But the most important connection we need to have is with our inner core and our children. That's real talk. And that's for me too. All right, so I want to get to this summary, and I'm going to play a song called Keep Your Mind Right. And that was inspired by a brother's platform, the only platform I've ever been on. And I mentioned him in a podcast. I mentioned sisters too, but I mentioned him in that podcast I was just speaking on. I put it in the end screen. Appreciating the knowledge we have gained. I mentioned him in there. And when I was on this platform. It's been years ago. And he let me he gave me a voice, on this platform, and actually gave me a spark that got my platform going. And so that's what inspired the song I made called Keep Your Mind Right. And my son and I did one too. Well, me and him collab, but I did one by myself. And I'll play that after the summary. And I'm going to read a page from my book. And I'm going to salute you brothers and sisters on to have a great divine life. Because when we alive and breathing, brothers and sisters, man, we are back to conquer another day, another year. I don't care what happened yesterday or in the past. As long as it wasn't too bad and you didn't cause no one's demise or nothing evil or nothing like that. But it's just a minor mistake or something you didn't like that you did. Because, when you're hard on yourself, it's just certain things you won't like seeing yourself do. So we can always start out fresh the next day and just don't make the same mistake again. Because as many of us great teachers, reachers, and teachers say, brother or sister, can't keep repeating a toxic thing and expect a different result. It's fucking impossible. Excuse my French. All right. I want to read this summary, and I'm going to play that song again. That was inspired by the only platform that I ever been on. From a great brother and his whole team, not just him. So, all right, and it's called Keep Your Mind Right, and I'll play that after this summary. But let's get to it, brothers and sisters, my leaders and teachers with a student spirit. All right, 444 and other numbers we may see. Look it up. Again, Google our dreams, look up synchronicities, numbers. Anytime things like that happen, study it, look it up, go into it deeper. That's how we build our clarity. That's how we can almost be parallel with that great divine force. All right. Guidance, 444, can mean that that we are on the right path and that our angels are helping us. Transformation, 444, can indicate that we are about to experience a period of personal growth or rebirth. And a lot of us have went through that rebirth. And it's not a religious thing. It's a way of life, well-being, stability. I talked about that when we see 444. The number 4 symbolizes stability, security, and strong foundation. Now, we're talking about if a righteous brother and sister see this, basically. Again, anybody can see it. But again, it's all about who's driving the vehicle, so got to remember that. So, but I'm kind of speaking more so for righteous brothers and sisters or family, anyone that sees 444 or any other numbers, synchronicities, good things. All right. Like I said, stability. The number 4 symbolizes stability, security, and a strong foundation. The number 4 is associated with practical aspects like work and finances. Yep. Because it connects to clarity. We see it in everything. Our finances, how we eat, how we deal, how we interact with individuals, how we deal with ourselves. Practicality, that's what it said. I didn't say it because I didn't want to say it wrong. Practicality. That's another thing we learn on this walk. When we look up stuff, we come across words that don't be in our vocabulary. We build our vocabulary. Now, it's not about being this super articulate person. It's growth, brothers and sisters. Okay. Now, the next one, order. 444 can be a reminder to bring order to chaos, and set secure foundations. Emphasis on secure foundations. Something I love to say. Cut off all peace breakers and cut off all boundary breakers. Every righteous brother and sister have a right to defend themselves and their peace. Thank you, Malcolm X. So, especially if we're in the right, we don't have time for nonsense, when we're forging forward and trying to live the best of ourselves. All right, because everyone has a choice if they're what? Healthy, mind, body, and soul. Remember that. How to respond, listening to our intuition and body's needs. Emphasis on the body. Because again, and this for me too, sometimes we get so spiritual, we forget about the body. Again, I like to say, before we even get to the deep spiritual, we have to have our body right, because if we don't have our body right, mind, body, and soul, one can't work without the other. So our eating habits, getting rest, stress, less stress or no stress at all. That's all very important. It all plays a part in our spiritual walk. All right. Another one, be open to signs from our angels. As I said a little while ago, little synchronicities, dreams, things we see that we just think are random. And no, study it. That's how we can almost see the future, folks. I'm telling you, it's a part of us that Great Divine shows us all the time. We just so afraid to step into it. That's why some of these artists, not all, that's why some of these artists are falling off, because they chose the evil path. God that Great Divine tried to show them, but they didn't want to go that route. They wanted to take shortcuts, and shortcuts are so stupid. I would rather go through the struggle, not learn the hard way, more or less, but just learn, and take our time and be patient and let things come to us, not rush things or stomp over nobody, because it'll be all for nothing. And we'll be looking stupid in old age, because when we reach a golden age, I don't call it old age. When we reach that golden age, that's when we should be in a space of teaching, not trying to fight back all the toxic, evil shit we did down through the years, because that's sad, and it's a sad state of affairs. So just be right to begin with. I don't care how hard it looks. Doing wrong, it's not going to make it any better. And I don't care what status we are, high status, low status, how we are in the core, but always what will show up later. So, a lot of us, that's why we got all these reachers and teachers out here, brothers and sisters, family. That's why a lot of us are standing strong, because we learned and we became powerful, but we got to fix that human before we get to that spiritual. All right. And the last one, stay confident and forward thinking, as I was just talking about. Focus on that sparrow, life, ourselves, children, significant other. Righteous ripple effect, even if we have broke up with someone, still don't talk down on them, because I always like to bring up, as the great Malcolm X said, you hear me say this 1,000 times, this what centers me. Before now, again, we don't be pushovers, we be empaths, not a dumbass empath, but at the same time, understand. We can understand from a distance. We can still teach in subtle ways. If we have breakups of I'm talking about romantic relationships, we have breakups. No, don't be bitter. Learn from it. Still teach. Because some just not there. Some just not over past traumas, and it's not easy to pay attention to things like that, because we get wrapped up in our emotions. I've been there too. But study emotions. Watch videos on emotions. Listen to someone who's an expert in mastering one's emotions. I'm pretty good, but I would say I'm not going to down myself. I've gotten pretty good at mastering one's emotions, but I wouldn't say I'm a top expert, but I'm good at it. So, because I've learned from others that studied it and know it. And, some have degrees, some are spiritual, but it's good to learn all aspects, but especially the spiritual part, because there's things in the spiritual world that you can't learn from a book or a degree. But it's good to have all those, intertwine it, but go above and beyond the degrees and the education. Because that great divine mother nature in our universe will show us something, again, that we just can't get in no book. Again, that's why I say, look up synchronicities, dreams, deja vus. We can anticipate the future. So that goes back to seeing in the core of an individual, if they're male or female, brother or sister, if they're doing things we can't understand or understand, but still try to teach them in subtle ways here and there. That's why we have to back up from situations and see why it's happening the way it's happening. And that's the beauty of clarity, brothers and sisters. So if we have that, be thankful, go deeper into it. You become even more powerful. Don't just shrug off divine moments. I'm telling you, you'll love yourself and thank yourself later. And others will see it too. And we just keep on teaching. Like I say, a righteous ripple effect. And build generals out here. Got a lot of generals. Some people just don't know that they can be a general. So it takes reachers and teachers like me and others to have that light, to bring it out of them. But those that have to want to bring it out of them, All right, so I want to get to this song, and then I'm going to read a page out of one's book. And then I'm going to salute you, brothers and sisters, on. And I'm going to get to this song. And actually got to go to work here in a minute. And it always kind of inspires me. I always feel inspired when I do these shows before work. And sometimes I'll do them after, because as I told people in the past on this podcast, and thank you. If you've been riding along, I thank you. May that great divine be in our life, you know, and we get anything out of what I say and my son Lord Lamont say, or music, or anything I do positive on this channel. Take that positive energy and pass it on to someone else. Please, you know, we got to keep it going. But I want to play this song. Again, I be inspired to do this before work. It makes me feel good when I'm at work. Sometimes I do it after, you know. It gives me something to look forward to. That's a part of therapy. I actually heard a sister say that on the radio, actually. She said, always have something positive to look forward to. You know, always got to keep our mind in a positive space, positive environment, you know. Can't let person, place, or thing wreck that, especially if we, you know, have blazed through fires to get to a space. Man, I'm telling you, let nothing, person, place, or thing break our peace. Brother or sister, you know, younger or older, family. All right, I want to get to this song. And it's called Keep Your Mind Right. Let me see. I'm going to get to it in a minute. You know, I got to play around with the computer. All right, let me see. Because I don't want it to be too loud. Make sure it's set right. And again, this was inspired by a brother, the only platform I've ever been on. And again, I'll put that podcast in the end screen. I probably put 2. I don't know what else I'm going to put, but I know that one will be in the end screen. And I have another one too. So, matter of fact, I'll put the one I just did recently. I did an hour on it. I got it in. I named all kind of artists. For those who haven't listened, I'll put that in the end screen. It was a tribute to Sheila E. and Apollonia, and it was some golden school artists, some current, some maybe new. So I'll put that in the end screen. That and appreciating our knowledge. I'll put that in the screen. All right. I'm going to play this song, brothers and sisters, and I'll be back.
I keep your mind right, yeah. I keep your mind right, brothers and sisters. Keep your mind right. I never go out, yeah, without a fight. I keep your mind right. I never go out without a fight, brothers and sisters. I keep your mind right, yeah. I never go out without a fight. I keep your mind right, yeah. I never go out without a fight, brothers and sisters. Yeah. I don't give a damn of what we going through. We ain't got no time, I'm in the have no blues. And we gotta win up in this life and never lose. And gotta get a clue and never be confused. Yeah. And I'm staying here and they ain't having no fear. I had sad times, sometimes had fear. I'm out here and I will not front. And I'm glad to have my son, Lord Lamont. Yeah, we pushing on while we in these songs. And yeah, saying things, man, yeah, to keep us strong and keep moving through. I never stop this. Yeah, in the future, man, I don't see no quit. I keep my mind right. I never go out without a fight. Yeah, I keep your mind right. Yeah, I never go out without a fight. Brothers and sisters, I keep your mind right. Yeah, I never go out without a fight. Yeah, man, I keep my mind right. Keep my mind right. Brothers and sisters, yeah, I'm staying on the ground. I keep on making the sound. I'm so thankful that I'm here and I'm around. Like I tell you, I always see my children and my family. I keep on moving on, yeah, in my zone. I'm so thankful the vibe protect my home, protect yours while we out here in this life. In this life, man, we gotta keep our fucking mind right. Woo! Yeah, keep your mind right. Yeah, and never go out without a fight. Yeah, and man, we gotta keep our mind right. Keep your mind right, brothers and sisters. Keep your mind right. Yeah, and never go out without a fight. Yeah, and man, and keep your mind right. Keep your mind right. Salute to my generals, Lord Lamont, my family, my generals. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Keep your mind right, brothers and sisters. Yeah. And which is easier said than done. But again, we have to practice these things, and then we can keep our mind right, you know? All right, brothers and sisters, had to get my mojo music back on. You know, I call it my mojo music. And yep, I call it my mojo music, brothers and sisters. But again, man, the beauty of clarity, you know. And I hope those enjoyed the summary I read about 444. And like I said, brothers and sisters, never brush off divine moments, little things we have in our dream, because I'm telling you, You be amazed. I'm telling you, it's a part of that world that especially in these times, in my opinion. Divine is showing up in a lot of people's lives. People can call it divine, God, Allah. It's something positive for it. It's something out there. When we're doing right, we stay with it, and we learn the art of patience, silence, stepping back, always, and mastering one's emotions. You hear me say that a lot because that plays a very important part. It's pivotal in our life. Because it's a lot of wars in this life. But where's the hardest war, and I would say hard, tough, can be the most challenging war, is in our psyche, brothers and sisters. So that's where everything begins, with the thought. Thank you, Malcolm X. And I'm telling you. But we have to do things to stay at it. Because, again, I don't ever want to come off like being this deep spiritual person. When we do finally conquer our human body and we step over into that cosmic spiritual part of ourselves, it doesn't mean we're invincible. But our thinking can be invincible. We start sidestepping things. We have to give ourselves chance to get results. We have to try it, step over into it. Don't argue, don't debate. Silence help us to feel others' energies. I'm learning. When we're just quiet and don't say nothing at all, we can almost feel whether it's something in the world, because it could be something in the world too. It's an over and beyond thing, like my banner here. Again, that's why you see me do buildings a lot. So that's what this represents. So you ever see me do videos where I'm above the building and in the sky? That's where our mind need to be. Because Great Divine isn't down low. It's up high. I'm rhyming. But, and we try to see what that Great Divine sees. And that's what it's about. Again, it's not being this holier than thou, or, we think we're better. Nothing like that. It's just, man, getting to a space where we can breathe. Because when we can breathe, we're not trapped in chaos and our own stupid, petty thinking in our mind. And man, it's just wonderful. And some great things will come about, brothers and sisters. And we can share that to our youth, our children, because we all going to be golden one day. I don't say old. We want to enjoy the latter years of our life, because that's when everything will pay off. As I said, I'll say 13 or 14 through 50, that little era right there. My young brothers and sisters were living in a different time, and my time and others' time through the 60s and 70s through there. It was some things that we can do and still maneuver. But these days, you better have your shit together. So that's a message from my young youth. You better find something and invest in it, whether it's financial, physically, or spiritual. Stay with it, especially if it leads you in the right direction. Again, Great Divine gives all of us that youthful time where we bloop and blunder and mess up and all that stuff. But when it's time, when we are aware, we are grown, we are healthy, nothing wrong with us, that's when that circle begins, brothers and sisters. When we are aware of what we're doing, brother or sister, younger or older, family, male or female, that's when that circle begins. The circle of life, brothers and sisters. 50 is when that circle begins, actually. And what we do from that point on, if we're healthy, again, no health conditions, no medical conditions, and we're a healthy human being, 50 is when the circle begins. Because everything we do from that moment on will determine how our life will be when we're getting close to that transition. I'll say that. So I'm telling you, again, if we want to learn examples and how we can know this, just pay attention to the world, the media, how everybody jumps on the same thing. And it doesn't mean people are stupid. It doesn't mean that either. It's the power of the media and how it can have us in these trends and these patterns, and we don't even pay attention to it. That's why we have to step back. That's the beauty of clarity. 444 too. That's a beautiful thing. If we see 44, 444 or any other number, a synchronicity, we see it in a righteous light and not nothing to manipulate or control the mass. Because in my opinion and theory, the brother that had that on his album, and we know who we talking about, was he using it for anything good? Why did he have that on his album? It's like some of these artists, they take these little gifts that they get from that divine, and I don't know. I just don't get it. You're gonna be looking stupid when you're older. I don't get it. So we all gonna get old one day. You don't like saying that word, but it's a reality. So that's why we do righteous in the present. So it'll ultimately benefit us in the future. So I say that a lot. All right, brothers and sisters, I want to read a page from one's book, and then I'm going to salute you, brothers and sisters, on and thank those for coming in to another edition of EBX Discussion. And, I bring it up every now and then. I write a book. It's some pages in a composition, and I call it Unlocking the Vault. And that just means unlocking things that we didn't know we had in us, and just study ourselves, think to ourselves, meditate, deep meditation, deep prayer, whatever we do, get into our deep thoughts. That's how we come up with solutions, results, things to help ourselves, world, children, family, etc., etc. All right. And this was 10/23/2024, and it's page 41. As I said, I'm gonna write I'm on the last page I wrote was 46 or 47, I think. And I'm gonna write 50 pages, and I'm gonna start another book called Solitude Strength. And it's not a selfish thing. It's just going in a space where we recharge and come out better and stronger, So I'll talk about that. And then just thoughts that one has when I'm at my son's school volunteering, which I haven't done in a little while. I'll admit I haven't volunteered in probably a couple weeks. And I had to deal with my body, and rest, and my vehicle having a little mechanical, not nothing bad, just something I got to get fixed on one's vehicle. So but I still see my son Ethan, which is 9, and my goddaughter Chloe. They both go to the school I volunteer. So that's why I wrote most of the pages of one's book. But I do miss volunteering and the faculty and the children and the impact that one energy gives to the children. That's parents, volunteers. When you show a child you care, man, you get a wonderful, righteous comeback. You get that. You see it in them. Our presence alone gives a child an impact, male or female, brother or sister. So that's what I learned volunteering, but I haven't done it in a while, and I feel bad when I haven't done it. So it bothers me, but it'll be all right. Things will happen. Great divine knows me better than one knows oneself. So but my heart is there, and I call down protection on that school and those children. And I have volunteered a lot of days though, and I have made some impact, but I'll be back. But I want to get to this page, brothers and sisters, and again, it's 10/23/2024, and this is page 41. All right. Make it a habit of silent, deep thinking, what I was just talking about, or meditation. Focus on our inner behavior, what makes us tick. Even if it is one, let me see, even if one has self-control. Make sure, no, let me see. If one has self-control, yeah. Okay, start over. Make it a habit of silent, deep thinking or meditation. Focus on our inner behavior. See what make us tick. If one has self-control, if we're able to do that, do steps, get therapy, listen to one that's an expert in that area, do whatever we can to have self-control. There are always negative entities trying to find a crack in our armor. When we understand this, we stay on point. Stay on point. One always say, I too go through challenges, we all have different battles, but the same battle spiritually. Cause once our spirit is broken, the mind and the body will follow. Like I said, mind, body, and soul. One can't work without the other. Our body is important too, folks. Not just the spiritual, how we eat, all that good stuff. So that's for me too. All right. The mind and body will follow if we don't take care of it. It will decline. All right. So remember the 7 senses: mind, body, soul, see, hear, and feel. Psyche. That's why it's so very important that we meditate to reflect and know the power we possess or tend, because it ain't that we don't have power within as brother and sister, as family. We don't take the time to invest in it and know we have it. As I said, there's a brother platform and many other brothers and sisters that, man, I listen to when we're tuned in and we're comprehending. Man, it was stuff that come out of me I didn't know I had. Some bad too now, but we filter through it and get to that right part of us because it's in us. It's just get rid of Shed off, distractions. As I said about my son, Lord Lamont, salute. But the only way to come into this power is to take our mind out of this so-called matrix. That's how you got to talk about negative forces and stuff. Talk down on it. Fuck the devil. Think the devil give a damn how we talk, how we are, if we're nice, if we're hard, if he doesn't. The devil don't give a damn. The devil want that soul. Because the devil, and when I say devil, I mean just negative forces around us that wants our, that wants our emotion, wants our soul, wants all our attention on it, not paying attention to important things. Because you can be the toughest, hardest brother and sister, and what the evil entities or the devil thrives on is weaknesses. Again, any crack in our armor, that negative entity will find it. So all my new artists that still want to get into the industry and haven't learned, any weaknesses that you have, you better have them dealt with before you sign any contracts or go into the industry. Hey, to each is his own. It's a lot of studies, a lot of awareness out here, a lot of information. Again, amongst the clout chasers and all that stuff. But think of all the real righteous brothers and sisters through our history that talked about what's going on right now today. And I'm talking about decades upon decades ago, before streets, lights, buildings, all that. Even then, back in the Kemet times. You know what I'm saying? So even then they were telling us. So, but that, even though a lot of evil things are going on, but guess what? All the righteous teachings of our ancestors are here too. And you got a lot of righteous generals out here that's incorporating, what we learned from our ancestors into our lives. So, and a lot of evil entities know this. That's why they're working overtime with all these damn distractions. So, so don't be a bumblebee of the honey of the media. As I said, a podcast I made, the honey bumblebee theory. Don't be the bee, be the honey. You know what I'm saying? Be unpredictable to the devil. Never let the devil know. The devil know, or anyone we know that has demons within them. Never let them know what we are thinking. Got to talk like that. Talk down on that negative force. Has no place in a righteous brother or sister or family life, younger or older. So that's my thought, and that's the beauty of clarity, brothers and sisters. And it's not about being soft. It's not about being a dumbass empath. It's about being a general and protecting our peace at all costs. So we can help others and pass on positive energy, because we got to have ourselves right, especially if we're a reacher and teacher. But just a human being overall, got to have ourselves right in order to know the beauty of clarity. Salute.